How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Hope you all having a great day. What a day, what a day. Ooh, man, I have been busy for another week. Got some good news today about, if you watched last week, I was talking about a guy doing a collab with, and he said he already sent it in and stuff like that, so, yeah. Can't wait to get that. I got a few other knives I've been kind of working on, messing around, and hopefully that'll work out. So I'll heat treat these probably tomorrow or something, and get some videos out. I got most of the footage for this already done. If you follow me on Instagram and stuff like that, you know I use like a 14-inch wheel for this, which I haven't done hollow grinds in a long time. So, and yeah, I know I got like 6 knives to finish, but you know, I figured I needed to do some grinding. But I did try something new with my mill, cutting out a whole thing like that. One day I want to try to do a wrap, you know, instead of a handle, just wrap the blades and see how it is. Paracord wrap. So, yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. Yeah, man. But, yeah, nice and straight. Man, when you haven't done a hollow grind for a while, it takes a while to get used to what you're doing, because flat grinding, you know, you have your platen and you're set up straight, but when you're on a wheel, it's a whole different ball game. You have to pull the knife a different way, but that's the whole thing about learning how, or pre-heat treat grinds. It's figuring out what to do. Hey, what's up, bootleg blades? How's it going? I guess you're putting off golfing, or you probably already went, huh? Yeah, man. Oof. All right. Sitting here admiring my own work. Yeah, I'm a little egotistical that way. Mainly just looking for mistakes I made, though. See, you see me looking at this and be like, wow, he must be admiring his work. It's like, nope, I'm looking where, damn, I didn't come down far enough here, and I didn't come down far enough here. It's just funny, because people look at, you know, and I'm sure it happens with all makers and different situations and stuff like that. Ruger 12, hey, what's going on? So, you know, like I look at these guys like, you know, Anthony Marfione, you know, and you know, he's Microtech Marfione blades, or Strider and stuff like that, or Dalibor knives, and all I see is the perfection and stuff like that. Or, you know, Black Dragon Forge, you know, Niels Vandenberg, on Instagram, he does a lot of his stuff live. And he's always talking about, oh, I messed this up, or I messed this up. And it's like, man, all I see is perfection there. I don't see all these mistakes, where all you see is the mistakes. And so it's funny that way, because it's hard to step outside of yourself and actually see your progress, or see what you've doing, or what you've accomplished. So, hey, what's up, SLG Foxy? Says you missed last week, but you were at work. Well, glad to have you here this week. Always good to see people returning and joining the family. Well, that's what I feel like it is, you know, community, family. You know, we all get to know each other, so, yeah, right on. Anyway, so my first topic is something you guys, if you've watched my channel for a long time, you know, I made a jig like 2 months ago, and everything you see is jigs. Now Taylor, it's either Tyler or Taylor, I think it's Taylor Blades, Taylor, Taylor Blades. He's a guy that kind of started making videos when I was making videos, and he just put out a video a couple days ago, talking about a new jig he's making and selling. Now, when he started using this jig 2 years ago, I was like, man, and I wanted to make one just like it. You know, I wouldn't sell it or anything, just for myself. And, you know, now he's selling it, he's perfected and all that. And Do-It-Yourself Easy Crafts just made a video today on his jig. It's kind of like the one Jeremy from Simple Little Life uses. You know, it's like the tilt table and all that. But, hey, what's up, What's up, Martin? M&S Blades? I think a big, I don't think misconception is a word, but I think something people need to push you know, you know me, I'm a freehand guy. I always preach freehand grinding, and you have to learn freehand grinding. But I think what a misconception or something that's starting to really trend in knife making is using a jig, which, man, I am all for using a jig, but only use a jig if you also learn freehand. You know, I think a lot of guys want that quick way. I think a lot of guys want to make it so they learn how to grind, bam, you know, just set it up and their grinds look perfect. And hey, I'm one guy that took a lot of shortcuts. I'm hearing an echo. I got my headphones down here, so if you see me like look down or pause, because I'm hearing the echo from my headphones. But anyway, you know, I took a lot of shortcuts. You know, I bought a lot of machines or built a lot of machines, and, you know, like the horizontal grinder. I would say the horizontal grinder is probably the one machine that I still use. You know, all these things, you know, now like the bandsaw I bought and I use it a lot too. But there's so many things that I tried building, because you know me, I'm always trying to find faster ways to do things. But when you're beginning out knife making, there's a difference between taking shortcuts and making production faster. And I think that's the misconception. Jigs really aren't to learn on. I mean, they are, but they shouldn't be. Jigs are better for production. If you've got like 10 knives to make, you know, jigs are amazing. Or at the least, if you're going to learn on a jig, for every knife you make or every 2 knives you make with a jig, make one freehand. You have to learn freehand. I can't, you know, the thing is, you know, like that do-it-yourself Easy Crafts. I did a collab with him like 8 months ago or something. And, you know, his etching and stuff, his knives look really amazing. But there's a lot of shortcomings to them. And I'm not shortcomings. I don't want to put down anyone else's stuff. His bevels all look the same on every knife. And if that's what you're going for, that's great. You know, more power to you. If that's what you want to make out of your knives, you know, if you want the same grind always, then that, you know, jig is the way to go. But for myself, Jacob Visser, what's up? I'm kind of missing this because I'm ranting, but yeah, you know, if you're going to use a jig and you want to be a productive knife maker that progresses, you know, not just makes 1 or 2 knives that all kind of look the same. When you use your jig, also freehand. I can't emphasize this enough, because I'll tell you what, you'll use a jig for like a year and you'll have this awesome grind, but then you'll be like, man, well, I want to do this grind or I want to do this grind. And you'll take the knife and you don't know how to use it. If that makes sense. Because I did that with files. You know, I would use Dremels, I would use the mill, I'd use everything except files. And even to this day, 4 years later, you know, when I went to do these knives, I stopped and I went back and I put a carbide burr in the mill and finished these out. Because my file work sucks. I'm no good at file work. Now, I would have to go back and reteach myself how to use a file. And since I took that shortcut and used everything but a file, you know, that's one part where I'm very weak at knife making. So jigs are great for production and for making grinds look great, but they're not good for helping you progress as a knife maker. Unless you want the same grind on every knife for the rest of your life. Because I guarantee you one day you'll get down the road a year or two and you'll be like, man, I want to try a compound grind, or I want to try a hollow grind, or, you know, whatever the grind is, and you'll go to do it and you won't be able to. And then you'll have to go back. And believe me, relearning things is a lot harder than learning it in the first place. Man, I can't emphasize that enough. All the shortcuts I've taken with hand sanding and whatever it is, when I try to go back and do those skills now, it's like I'm crippled because I didn't learn them the right way in the first place. All right, it's just my rant. You know, I see a lot of guys now making jigs and selling jigs and doing all this. And, you know, jigs are great and they have their place in knife making. And man, they can really help improve productivity and help you learn. But man, don't cripple yourself by not learning the other ways too. So, Tweety Bird 31, hey, how's it going? So, phew, I had a fun experience on Monday. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. I had to go to the DMV, and usually DMV takes like an hour, maybe 2 hours, but this time it took 4 hours. 4 hours sitting at the DMV. And now, if I had to like retake a test or, you know, re-register my car or something like that, it would have been a little bit justified. But on my thing, because my birthday's August 1st, so I have to renew my license. Now, the thing I got says you can pay online to renew your license, but you have to go in and get a photo. So the only reason I went to DMV was just so they could take a picture of me. And it's like, oh man, 4 hours just to get a picture taken. And it wouldn't have been so bad, but I kept seeing people that were behind me going up for it first. And it's like, man, why are these people that have registrations and tests and all this other stuff getting ahead of me when all I got to do is take a picture? I don't have to write anything. All I have to do is stand there and look dumb, you know? But it's funny when you're sitting in a place for 4 hours, the thoughts that come through your head. And it's, you know, a lot of bad thoughts and funny thoughts. You know, my first bad thought, and take this with a grain of salt because it's pretty offensive, but I was like, man, if this was the 80s, I could write a song called Killing Spree in the DMV, you know? But, you know, you can't write stuff like that these days because, you know, it happens, and it's a tragedy, and, you know, a lot of people are affected by stuff like that, but it's like those thoughts come into your mind and it's like, oh man, you know. And then the two other thoughts I had is like, man, no wonder everyone's driver's license picture looks so bad. They sit there for hours and it's just like, then they're, you know, you get in front of the camera and they're like, smile, look into the camera, look pretty. And it's like, you know, you can just, if you look at my driver's license picture, you can, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if it'll show up. I have to cover my address and all that, but hold on a second. Let's see if we can see that. Is it gonna? Oh, I have to focus. Hold on. You can just see the disdain in my eyes. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Hold on. Oh, is it gonna focus? No. I can't do it. No, I probably messed up. But you can just see, like, the soullessness in my eyes. Man, it's just like, they're like, smile and look good, and it's just like, I hate you. You know? Oh, man. And my third thought was, as you sit there, you can just watch over time the people's souls leave. You know, people come in kind of happy and, you know, talking to each other. And as they sit there for like, you know, an hour, goes into 2 hours, their souls just leave and they're just defeated people. Defeated shells of what used to be. Can you tell I'm a songwriter? Oh, man. Chip says he has to add bootlegs on Instagram. Yeah, Chip's now on Instagram. I made a video for him, so I think he's getting it figured out. But, man, it's good to have the whole family on Instagram, because that's, you know, YouTube is where I post weekly, 3 times a week. But every day on Instagram, I'm on there. You know, if I do a little thing for my knife, I post it on Instagram. So, oh, man. Martin says he hates political correctness. Yeah, I do too, but sometimes, you know, the only thing about it is some people have been affected by these things, so, you know, you have to walk that fine line because, you know, people actually go through these things. But yeah, you know, it's always good to joke about these things. It's when people take them seriously and, you know, start, you know, pushing them one way or the other. But, you know, which, you know, hunting, for me, I've never been hunting, I've never owned a gun. But I think hunting is definitely a necessity. Now, if you go out and hunt for me, I'll eat that food all day long. It's just not something that I can do. Now, I've shot guns before, and I love doing that. You know, and this is politically incorrect. Honestly, I'd probably shoot another person before I shot an animal. Which, for me, if you got me to the point where I'm going to do bodily harm to someone else, that means you're either hurting me, you're hurting someone I love, or, you know, or family. So, to get me to the point where I'm going to injure somebody, yeah. So, that's what I mean when I say I could probably shoot another person before I shot an animal. But, you know, hunting is a necessity, so you got to take it. And honestly, if people want to own guns, I would rather them be a hunter or be a gun enthusiast. Because it's the people that are uneducated about guns that give it such a bad name. People that just want to go buy a gun so they can look cool or fit into this crowd, or because it's something that, oh man, that kind of piques my interest. I'm going to go buy a gun and I'm going to go shoot. Because these people aren't trained. You know, these people are the people that give gun ownership bad names. Because most of the guys that I watch, you know, that are hunters and stuff, man, even their kids know guns in and out. And they know if there's a gun sitting in the room somewhere, they don't go anywhere near it, you know? And they know every rule. You know, hunters and people that are gun enthusiasts usually teach everyone around them gun safety and how to use a gun and what's important about a gun, and, you know, this is what you need to know. And honestly, that's why I don't own a gun, because I don't know anything about guns. Now, if I was to get interested and own a gun, I would go to NRA, which is, the NRA building's like 15 minutes from here, so, you know, and I would take classes and I would learn every in and out before I even purchased one. But people don't do that. They just want to look cool on Instagram with a gun in their hand, so. Alright. Hey, what's up, Heath? Shepherd's Forge. I saw that knife you made. Looked pretty sweet. I like the design. You know I like those unique designs. But, yeah, go read my, message to you if you haven't. I kind of made a few comments on it. Which, man, it's a sweet looking knife. Which, kind of, actually brings up a topic that I was thinking about talking about. You guys probably all follow Simple Little Life, Jeremy at Simple Little Life. And he always does that, you know, where you send him pictures of your knives. And he always, you know, tells you how good they look and stuff like that. Well, I've been thinking a lot about doing that. But I would take it from a different perspective, where if people sent me their pictures, I would tell them what looked good with them, but also what needed fixed. But see, that's like a slippery slope, because when you start telling people there's things wrong with their knives, they get upset and they get discouraged and they think, oh, well, you're just ragging on me. And so it's something I'm kind of thinking about. But I would also be like, okay, if you're going to send me the picture, you'd have to tell me how long you've been making your knives, too. Because, you know, I don't want to sit there and critique someone's knife that they just made their first knife and be like, oh, well, you need to do this or you need... See, and that's where it kind of gets in that whole gray area. And that's why I understand why Jeremy, or Simple Little Life, does that. You know, he always tells people how great their knives look. And, you know, he did it for me. And, man, it really helps people out and, you know, really gives them motivation. But I think people also kind of need to know what they need to fix. You know, they don't need to know, okay, well, you know, your blade is ugly. That doesn't need to be fixed. Whatever your design is, you know, that's your design, that's your creativity. That's not a problem that needs to be fixed. But say, you know, you're like, oh, I'm trying to do this kind of bevel. And your plunge line is all, you know, got the smiley face on them and all messed up or something like that. Or, you know, the picture of the spine is all crooked and not sanded out. You know, I'd be like, hey, it looks like you need a little bit more work sanding, or, you know, learn how to use the grinder. You know, little things like that. But I don't know if I want to do it, Nat. He said he sent Dave McConnell pics of the two blades and asked him, don't hold back. Tell me what you think. I so appreciate the truth and honest opinion. Yeah, I gave you an honest opinion, Heath. I told you a few things that I thought needed to be fixed with it, but overall, I really liked it. So, you know, see, Heath and me have a pretty good connection. If you notice, when guys say, hey, what's up, brother, on here, I don't really respond with brother. You know, there's only like a few people I call brother, and Heath is one of them because, man, you know, we've done a lot for each other, and he's listened to me, you know, put out some pretty deep stuff. But, you know, so I feel comfortable with him that he knows that I'm not being like, hey, man, your knife sucks. So, and that's where the whole picture thing I'm on the fence about doing. You know, I would hate to discourage someone from progressing as a knife maker or making more knives because of something I said about their knives that they took in a way that meant, hey, stop doing this. So, yeah, Chip, I grabbed these. I was like, last week, Chip's like, why don't you wear those black glasses? I was wondering if you would notice that. Oh, man. So since we're talking about a few things that are off color, well, not off color. I don't know. You know, I never talk about politics and I never talk about religion, but I'm going to kind of dabble in religion a little bit. You know, let me preface it by saying I don't care what religion you are or what your beliefs are. You know, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, but honestly, I don't believe in religion. I'm against religion. I don't put my faith in any other person, you know. Why would I go to some denomination to talk to God when I could talk to him straight? But that's, you know, that's just a little piece. I wanted to get that out of the way. The funny thing I find is a lot of guys that I talk to that don't believe in God, which is your right, and, you know, I'm not going to tell you to believe in God or why God is good or either side of the fence. But every guy I talk to, well, I'd say 75% of the people I talk to that don't believe in God, I ask them, well, what are you going to do when you die? And they're like, well, as long as I repent right before I die, I'm fine. And, you know, that kind of tells me two things. Or I'm always like, well, what happens if you die before you get that chance, you know? And it also tells me that they have this belief. Because if you don't say that, why would you even think it? If that makes sense. Now, you know, I don't care who you believe in, what your beliefs are. That's for you. And that's my one big thing about religion. Don't tell me not to believe in God, and I won't tell you to believe in God. You know, don't tell me I'm with this way, so I have to be this way. Don't tell, you know, but I'll leave it at that. It's just a funny thing, which kind of leads into this thing that I watch Gary Vee a lot, which is, he's like Mr. Entrepreneur. If you don't know who Gary Vee is, and you want to be in business for yourself, I highly suggest watching Gary Vee. He will not only get you motivated, but he'll give you a lot of tips on what you need to do. But take it with a grain of salt because, whew, man, he gives a lot of things that can, you know, if you're not that type of person, if you're not that type of a personality that goes out and gets things, it can really corrupt you. Billy Martin, hey, what's up? Glad to see you back. Looks like we got someone here from Russia. No, I don't speak Russian. Sorry. But thanks for showing up. And but anyway, Gary Vee last week said this thing, and it said people have ideas and God laughs. That's funny, that's ironic. It's a Russian statement, you know. People have ideas and God laughs. Because people are always trying to, you know, I'm going to do this with my life, and I'm going to do this with my life. And, well, this is how I interpreted it, you know. I'm going to make this out of my life. I'm going to do this week, and I'm going to achieve this goal this week, you know. But God might have a different plan. Well, God, you know, if you don't believe in God, then, you know, it's just a saying. So I don't want it to believe like I'm preaching to you. But the point of the whole thing is, what you have plans might change because, you know, I've said this before. I was born a musician. My dad was a jazz bassist. Up until I was 25 or 26 and my guitarist died, I knew nothing other than music. And then everything changed. So you never know what path you're going to be put on. And, you know, knives, the only knives I had were switchblades. You know, out the fronts and switchblades. I didn't even know people can make their own knives, which was how disinterested I was in knives. Kind of like guns. Man, I love looking at guns, but I know absolutely nothing about them. So I found that saying that Gary Vee said, you know, people have ideas and God laughs. It's so profound because you never know what life pushes you or where life is going to push you and how you're going to get through this part of life. Chip says, it's like midnight where she is. It must be hard to catch a live stream. I missed something again. I'm sitting here rambling on and on, so I missed something. Hey, Billy Martin said, Bootleg hasn't put out any videos. It's because it's summer and he's out playing golf. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, he has some good videos. We'll just have to wait for fall to come. Then we'll get a whole bunch of content from Bootleg. Oh, man. Oh, I see. He said, where's Gravinder? She still comments on my Instagram, so she might not have... I hope it's a she. The picture on the thing is a woman, so I'm assuming it's a woman. But, yeah, maybe she had family to attend to on Sundays or something. She's from India, so I think it's, 6 hours ahead? So... Anyway, Tweety Bird 3. Do I do giveaways on my Instagram? No. I tried when I hit 1,000 subs on my YouTube thing. I tried to do giveaway, and I just found it wasn't. All these people came only for the giveaway, and it's not the kind of thing I want to build. I don't want people to view my content because I'm giving them something. Me giving them advice on how I make my knives or what I'm building or what I'm doing should be enough. If people don't like that content, then hey, maybe it's not the channel for you on Instagram. Or it's just, maybe at 3,000 something or whatever, because I think on Instagram I'm almost at 3,000 followers. But it's just not worth it because you do this giveaway and all these people come, and then after the giveaway's over, all these people leave. And it's like, I'm just not into greed. Now, I understand giving away things and stuff like that, and it's great to do. But if I did a giveaway, it would be to the people that showed up every day to like these live streams or it wouldn't be something I would publish. It'd be like, hey man, thanks for sticking with me for the last 1,000 subs or for the last year. That's where I would do the giveaway. It wouldn't be something I'd announce, if that makes sense. So, anyway, do a keychain giveaway. Yeah, I could probably give away one of these. Or maybe I could try giving away all the knives that I've made and haven't finished. These are, when I put that platen on, if you watch that video I did, I put in the ceramic platen. I was like, well, I have this platen. Now I can either make a whole brand new knife or find something to grind. So I've had these laying around for, 8 months now? So it's supposed to be a chisel grind. I don't really do chisel grinds, which is, every time I say it, I think, God, man, you're just, you sit there and preach for people to learn and progress, and you don't want to do something because you don't like it. But so that's my chisel grind. It's got a big side on one and a little side on the other. But I should do one, but nah. The conflict in my head, right? Oh, man. Oh, that's right. I sent one to Heath. See, I did do a giveaway. See, that's what I'm talking about. But that's because Heath does so much for other people. He's always giving stuff to other people, so. And it's just like I just said. It's not because they ask for it. It's because he sees people in need. So, if you want a giveaway, from me, at least, that's how you get a giveaway. I see you doing a lot of things for other people. It fills my heart and makes me want to do things for, everyone else. So, or it makes me want, I'm like thinking and talking, so it makes me want to do stuff for you. Tweety Bird 31, good point. Education is worth more. People like, Kyle Royal Knives. Yeah. Kyle Royal Knives. Man. If you guys don't know who Kyle Royal... I just came on to him. Well, I watched Green Beetle on YouTube, and he did a maker's thing on him. That dude does some amazing knives. Now, if you want to see a guy that I'm like, look at his knives and be like, oh, I'm not worthy. That guy's good. Free Hillbilly Blades, I just heard from him too. And feather knives, it's funny you talk about feather knives because that's one of my topics. I just started listening to that Knife Talk podcast. I like it. And I DM'd them on Instagram to make sure it was okay to talk to them about it. Because I didn't want to be like sitting there talking about something and then be like, oh man, we didn't give you permission to talk, but anyway, yeah. For me, and for most people this would sound bad, but at night I need things to turn my brain off. And I used to listen to like Casey Neistat live stream, and it would help me fall asleep because I wasn't always thinking about, okay, what am I gonna do next? What project, what editing do I need to do? What knife, So listening to the Casey Neistat podcast really helped, but they haven't done one since like April. So yeah, I started kind of trying to, but I got to remember, I actually just put it up today on my browser thing so I can just click on it because I always forget things like that. It takes me a while to get in the process, but I really like that. Bootleg Blades, Kyle Roy makes killer knives and it has a YouTube channel. Kind of weird dude, but his knives are perfection. Man, I don't think he's a weird dude. I think he just, he's kind of like me, where he's kind of socially awkward, but might not love being a ham on camera. See, that's the difference. If you guys were to see me out in public, you would be like, wow, man, that dude's kind of off-putting, because I'm very socially awkward, which is actually one of my man, you guys are killing it today. That's another one of my topics, because the only place I go is to the grocery store, because I got to take care of my mom after the stroke. For all you new guys, 3 years ago she had a stroke, so instead of going to work and paying for a nurse, I just do it 24/7. So the only time I get out is to go to the grocery store, and I am very socially awkward. Being on camera and being like in front of, going in a store is harder for me than getting up on a stage in front of 1 million people. You put me in front of 1 million people, I thrive. You put me in a grocery store where I have to see people one-on-one that I don't know, I'm very socially awkward. So I've been trying to, it's that whole thing where find your weakness and make it a strength. So lately, I've been going into the grocery store And when I walk by people, if they look away or something, I don't do anything. But, it's usually you go to the grocery store and you're just like, hey, what's up? But you don't say anything. You just like do the whole head nod, the kind of what's up translation without speaking. But lately, if someone makes eye contact with me, I try my best to be like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Or strike up a conversation. In fact, at that DMV, I sat there, a lady was standing in front of me, and I sat there and talked to her for like 20 minutes, and I initiated the conversation, which was like, in my head, I'm like, you're overcoming this, because, man, if you would see me out in public, even a month ago, 2 weeks ago, you'd be like, man, that dude's kind of weird, he doesn't, I do, just for posture reasons, I walk tall and keep my head up. That was one thing, I learned years ago, have confidence in yourself. So that wouldn't look weird, but maybe my like eye contact of like, you go to look at me and I avert my eyes real quick or, something socially awkward like that. But, so I've been trying to practice overcoming that by initiating the conversation if someone, makes eye contact with me, which it's been working. And, yeah, it's like that whole, fear of failure, the saying, fear of death is worse than death itself or whatever. So, and that's another topic, off the knife making thing is my fear of rejection. It was, man, it's why I always worked for friends or, I got a degree as a computer tech, but I never got a job as a computer tech because that rejection thing, I'm just not good at putting myself out there. And it's funny because a lot of people, when they talk about rejection, they're like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm weird. And that's my whole weird dichotomy because I don't mind if people think I'm weird. In fact, I thrive on weird. If I think it's something that's going to put me in the spotlight and be like, man, that dude's weird, I'll do it before, being socially awkward. It's like that hierarchy of my brain, like all my piercings and tattoos and just, I wear purple pants instead of jeans. Well, they're jeans, but they're purple. I don't know if you can see them on camera here, but, these are purple. And I got really light purple ones too. I like being weird. So weird, hey, oh, come on, Heath, you don't have to do that. I appreciate it though. That's my first super chat. Right on. Come on, Heath. That's too much. But I have been monetized, so yeah, man. I appreciate it. Hey, you're pretty weird too, Heath. Now take it back. Let me insult you, then you'll take the money back. I'll figure something out. But yeah, I've always strived. I was like the class clown because that's, I've got these weird dichotomies in my head that it's like, man, being shy, well, it's a classroom full of 30 people, so of course I'm going to be the class clown. But when you put me one-on-one with a teacher, in fact, oh man, I don't know if I should say this. When I was 15, I went to like, all right, I guess I'll be, I was locked up in a psychiatric ward because I was crazy, I was, and, but I'll preface it by this. Being a weird kid, you get picked on a lot, being different and not following everyone else, people don't like that, and you get your ass kicked a lot. And one way I figured out in life is you can keep getting your ass kicked, or you can scare, I almost cussed, you can scare the F out of people. When people think you're crazy, not weird, they tend to leave you alone. And when you get beat up a lot, pain is not an issue. And that's why I got like pain and sorrow on my arms. Pain becomes almost like a friend. So I could cut my arms, and all that stuff. Now, I didn't do it to hurt myself. I did it for attention, for people to leave me alone. This dude's crazy. We're not going to talk to him, Well, they weren't talking to me already. They were beating the fuck out. Oh, I cussed. See, I get passionate, I start cussing. Sorry about that. You know, I got beat a lot. And people would be my friends. We'd go to school or something, and man, boom. Because I was the weirdo. I wasn't like people. So you learn. So, yeah, 15, I got locked up in the psych ward. And, yeah, you just learn. I forgot why I even brought that part up. But, yeah, it's you learn a lot in life through things like that. So, but I completely lost my train. Man, that curse word just sent my brain into like, shut down, you're going too far. Oh. All right. Let's get on the real topic of today. When I put it's like it was a look at regret, but it's also kind of like lately, if you know, on Instagram stuff, I get real nostalgic. Like listening to my music. I talked about this last week, and you know, nostalgia's okay as long as it doesn't overcome you, and it's like you get so caught up in nostalgia that you don't think about the future. And regret to me, you know, I have this philosophy on regret where, okay, say you went back and you changed this big thing that you regret in life. How do you know your life isn't going to make it worse, or your life isn't going to become worse? So say, you know, I've always had trouble with relationships and stuff like that, you know, and those were the things I kind of regretted. But say I made those things work, and then, you know, I got married, and then I had kids, and then I got so overwhelmed, and then we got divorced, and then I blew my brains out. You know, would my life be better? You know, now that's an extreme thing, but it kind of goes with, if you look at regrets, are they things, and another thing I say is, okay, well, if I went back, would I really change what I did? Or would I change that one thing and then make the same mistake in a different way down the road? And that's really my philosophy on regret, because it might not be something that was bad in your life. It might have actually changed your life and put you on the right path. Now, it might have taken 5 years to realize, wow, you know, that happening really changed everything. You know, instead of staying with this girl and being miserable and or whatever, or because I didn't do this, or I had, you know, like even music. You know, I still play music, but you know, my guitar's dying and all that. I quit for 15 years, but now I still make music. But now I'm a knife maker. I'm a YouTuber. I never would have thought, you know, so things that you think you regret might really not be that bad. But, you know, it's how we perceive things. You know, we always look back on how things could have been better instead of looking to the future on how things can be better. What can we do to improve what we're doing now? You know, the past can't be changed either way. So, but the future can be. But, yeah, so that's my philosophy on regret, you know, and believe me, just because I say it's the philosophy, main reason it's the philosophy is because it's what I tell myself every time I start thinking, oh man, why did I do that? Or man, why couldn't I kept pursuing this? So my philosophies, you know, I'm a very self-absorbed person, you know, and it's why I hold my friends very dear, because it's kind of, I'm very, you know, which is, I was thinking about this, you know, if you guys, you know, as my channel grows or my Instagram grows and all that stuff, if you see me getting a big head or too big for my britches, please tell me. You know, I won't unfriend you. I won't, you know, I might be like, yeah, right. But believe me, I will need it. Because I see, you know, I've been gaining, the more work I put in, I've been gaining following here and there, and I see it. You know, I'll have someone comment on something, and I'll be like, yeah, whatever. And it's like, whoa, where did that come from? You know? And, you know, and it's like, I have to keep myself in check. because I'm not better than I was. You know, I worked hard at being better and I've progressed, but that doesn't mean I'm better, if that makes sense. So, oh man. You know what's funny? One thing I was sitting there thinking when I was at DMV, you know, I always try to wear my shirts out. So I'm like, I wonder if people that see me think that I'm, you know, if I'm wearing someone else's shirt, or if these, you know, if I'm, you know, Evader Knives. And I always wonder that, because how rarely do you see people wearing their own shirts? Or if you do you even know it's their own shirt? And it's like, you know, standing there for 4 hours, these are the things I think of. Shepherd's Heath, you would not have liked me at all 10 years ago. What changed in the last 10 years? Yeah, Heath, remember we had that big talk. That's what I was talking about when, that's what got me on the topic of that. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about, where, you know, you've listened to some of my demons from before. And that's what got me on the psych ward talk. But yeah, so, you know, when you share some of your soul with people, you tend to become close, you know. And Heath has the heart of a monster, you know. You rarely see someone with a heart that big that, you know, wants to give and not have anything returned. In fact, me and him, every once in a while, we go back and forth, you know. It's like, let me give you this. No, let me give you this, you know. And it's like, come on, man, I gotta have the bigger heart. You know. And usually it's people that are like, I want this from you. I'll give you this, but I want this in return. So, yeah. Anyway, and Chip, me and Chip are getting pretty close. You know, we talk about a lot of things. Chip actually keeps me on my toes, because he's always asking questions. And sometimes I don't know the answer, and I'll have to go look it up, and it's like, now I know the answer. So Chip, you're right up there too. You know, and I know you're always like, oh, I'm bothering you too much. And, you know, it's not a bother. You know, if I don't answer for a while, it means because I'm busy, but I'll come back to it. So, you know, Chip, you've become a really good friend too. Hey, what's up, Mortal Wombat? I didn't realize you were the guy on Facebook. This dude lives in my old stomping grounds in Virginia Beach, where I went to college and stuff. So, man, talk about nostalgia. My mom's like, you didn't get a degree in computers, you got your degree in surfing. All right. Yeah, glad you made it. So, I think I've hit on all my topics. Oh, here's one last topic that I'll let you go, because, man, I've been rambling for almost an hour or 50 minutes. But, so, you know, what makes me think about this is how I put the ceramic platen on my grinder. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I couldn't do that. Or, oh, you built that grinder. How? My philosophy in life is, if someone else can do it, I can do it. Now, I might not be able to do it as good at first, or I might have to figure out different ways to do it, just like knife making. You know, no one sat there and held my hand and taught me how to make knives. I watched obsessively video after video and learned how to make knives. Which, I had a funny thought. It's like, you know, all these guys that I used to watch, Gavco, Tough Knives, and, you know, Dirty Room Knives, and LB Customs, all these guys, a lot of them, well, LB Custom passed away, but a lot of these guys don't do videos on YouTube. And Ecom Knives, and I started making videos. Now, who knows, in like 2 or 3 years, one of you guys that are learning from me, and Simple Little Life and all us guys, you're going to start catching the camera bug and start making these tutorial videos. And then so on and so on. Because believe me, I never even owned a camera till last August. I used a camcorder. If you go back and watch any of my videos before last August, they were all done on phones in a camcorder. And that's why they look so bad compared to these videos. And then I started getting a camcorder, and then I bought my first camera, DSLR, and now I own 3. You know, in less than a year, I've bought 3 cameras and 10 lenses. It's like I'm more obsessed. Well, now I'm kind of happy with my camera work, so I still look, which, man, Amazon had their Prime Day on Tuesday, and they sold a $13,000 lens for $94. Some of their $3,000 cameras were $94. Someone did a misprint. And so if you were to go look at camera gear, which is in the thousands of dollars, it was like $94. Ah, man, it was last Tuesday. Why couldn't I look at like an A7 III or a new Canon camera that's like $4,000? $94, I'm buying it. But then you got karma that's come back. Now, if you did it honestly, there's that gray line. But there were some people that bought 10 of them. That's going to come back to bite them. I don't care, religion, like I said earlier, if you don't believe in religion, you sure believe in karma. Because, man, things that happen bad are usually for a reason. All right, man, I went right off that first topic but yeah, so if you see, I never knew how to make a horizontal grinder. I knew nothing about horizontal grinders. This was 4 years ago, so there still aren't really people making horizontal grinders. They make their vertical grinders go horizontal. But I knew I wanted a horizontal grinder. I didn't have any plans, but I knew, let's see. I could put the motor in my bench, and I could attach things to my bench, and as long as it spins around and stays straight, it's a horizontal grinder. And I use it all the time. So that philosophy on, if someone else can do it, most likely you can do it too. Maybe not as well, maybe not the right way, but if it works, it works. So, all right, I've rambled enough. I got shirts available. No one's even gone and bought the new shirt. Not a weapon, but a way of life. But that's okay. I forgive you. Oh, man. Up on my website, the links are all down below in the description. They're probably on the cards too, but if you're watching on the phone, I don't think the cards work. So everything is down in the description. In fact, Chip was like, man, I didn't realize how much you had down there. Anyway, I got 5 knives for sale. When I get to finishing these 5, I'll have 10 knives for sale. And, yeah, Amazon links, all that good stuff. And, yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it all. Man, if you guys are getting annoyed by my laugh as much as I do from editing, please let me know. I don't think I'll be able to change it, but, I won't see it as hateful either. Because it is annoying. I just can't help laughing. It's, I think it started it started like 30 years ago as a defense mechanism. Oh, that's where, yeah, when I was in the psych ward, they taught me you have to make eye contact with people. And this one guy sat there and he just stared at me. And I was on the floor laughing for like 20 minutes because I could not make eye contact with this guy without laughing. And I think that's where my nervous laugh, well, it's not a nervous laugh anymore because I'm not nervous. It's just a habit. But a lot of people say they really enjoy it, so maybe it's only annoying to me because I have to listen to it every time I edit. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Remember, all the links are down below to my website, and, Amazon links are on there, all that good stuff. Appreciate you coming by. I better stop before I get on a whole new rant. Really appreciate it. Have a great week. Have a great day. And as always, take it easy.